Hey guys, it's Jennifer. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with a really quick video about my plans for the March of the Mammoths readathon. Now, y'all probably know this is one of my favorite readathons every single year. The March of the Mammoths is hosted by Alex from Big Owl Books, Jason from Old Blues Chapter and Verse, and Lukash from A Cruel Reader's Thesis. I will link to their channels and their announcement videos down below. But the ultimate goal of this readathon is to read a book over 800 pages in the month of March. And so I have not actually been successful except for 1 year. I was successful last year, really proud of it. The year before, my book continued on long past the end of March. So I'm going to actually attempt 2 books this year. I don't know how well this will go, but in 2019, I read a classic for the March of the Mammoths. Last year in 2020, I read a fantasy. And so I kind of wanted to do another genre this year to kind of keep me on my toes. And so I decided to look for a historical fiction. And actually, both of my choices this year, I'm cheating a little bit, they're not actually 800 pages. They're both 794 pages, weirdly enough. But I am just going to round up and consider it actually an 800-page book in both cases. But I decided to go with a historical fiction for my main book of the month, and so that book is The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. To tell you the truth, I honestly had absolutely no interest in this whatsoever until I saw a trailer for the series. It's now on Stars, I believe. I didn't really know what this was about, apparently. This is set in New Zealand in the 1800s during apparently a gold rush, but it's also a little bit of a murder mystery, and there is a background here to kind of the zodiac. There's a lot about stars and constellations and, you know, your zodiac sign apparently. And so I think this is going to be a really fascinating work. This won the Booker, so I kind of have high expectations for it, and the preview for the TV series just left me wanting to know more. Eva Green is in the television series, and that was really all I needed to know to be intrigued by it. I have also just never read a book that was set in New Zealand before, so I think this is going to be a really interesting one, and I hope that I really enjoy it. It does come in at 794 pages, but apparently the hardback of this is over 800 pages, so I don't feel so bad about cheating with this one. I am really looking forward to this because I have heard generally really positive things about it. A lot of people have this as one of their favorite books of all time. And I do think I've heard some mixed things about the length, that some people think it definitely should have been shorter, but other people really think the book could have gone on longer, which is a really interesting thing to say for a book that is around 800 pages. So I'm really looking forward to this one. My other option for the March of the Mammoths is a book that I am currently reading, and that's the Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens. I am currently reading this for the Dickens versus Tolstoy debate that is being hosted by Carolyn from Carolyn Marie Reads and Emma from the channel Emmy. I will link to their channels down below and to their announcement for the Dickens versus Tolstoy kind of read-along. This is a years-long read-along where we are all reading every book that Tolstoy and Dickens wrote, with the eventual idea being that we will kind of come out the other side thinking one is a better writer than another. And so with every book that we're reading in this kind of read-along, Carolyn and Emma are debating whether or not Tolstoy or Dickens is the better writer, and they talk a lot about which things they found successful in the books. And so this is our choice for February and March, and I haven't really started it yet. I am just now 30 pages in, but I'm already really enjoying it. And I will tell you, in my personal opinion, I do like Dickens better than Tolstoy. I am really looking forward to continuing on with the Pickwick Papers. I, in truth, know very little about it. This is the first book that Dickens ever published, he ever wrote, and it's apparently very funny, and so far it already is a little bit comic, and comic in a way that I have not really seen from Dickens, I will tell you in truth, because this really does seem upfront funny, a little bit slapstick almost, that the book in truth is just going to be a comic book, whereas everything else I've read by Dickens, there was a lot of serious stuff going on, but there were kind of lighter moments of humor. And so I think as this book goes on, it will actually gradually get more serious towards the end of the book. And so we will see him kind of developing into the writer that he becomes. So in some ways, I'm actually rather apprehensive about this because I don't think it's going to stand up against his other books. And I think maybe if this is the first thing that you picked up by Dickens, maybe it will really impress you and maybe you'll really love it. But I think I'm constantly going to be comparing it to stuff like Great Expectations and A Tale of Two Cities and Bleak House. And I don't know that it will really stand up against those, if that makes sense. But if you have read this one, please let me know your thoughts on it down below, as well as on the Luminaries, about whether or not you liked them and whether or not you really thought they could be cut down. Do you think they need to be as long as they are? The Pickwick Papers comes in around 794 pages, like I said. So I am definitely cheating this March of the Mammoths, but I don't really feel bad about it. So those are the books that I will be attempting to read for the March of the Mammoths this year. If you will be participating, please let me know down below and let me know which book you'll be reading. But that's going to be all for me today. I hope you're all having a great week. Happy reading. Goodbye.